Hey guys, welcome back to my channel, Michi Makes Up. It's been several days since I've been able to upload a video, and the reason for that is I got sick over the holidays. I got COVID, and today's the first day that I have enough energy and feel well enough to sit down and film. So all the content that I had planned and scheduled for filming over the holidays had to be postponed, and so hopefully I can sit down over the next couple of days to get a lot of this content and ideas out to you guys, including my top beauty favorites of 2021. I was so looking forward to sharing that with you guys. Hopefully these topics are still interesting to you and you'll be able to enjoy it once I get those uploaded. Today we will be focusing on Natasha Denona's Mini Biba palette. She released this several weeks ago, and I'm going to swatch this, do comparisons, and kind of demo the palette. Let me know what you guys think of the Mini Biba if you already have it. I don't actually have her, was it meaty size or full size palette of the Biba, so I don't have any comparisons directly with that. I do know these shadows are brand new, so they are not repeats from the original Biba, and this is, I guess, more of an extension of that palette. So let me quickly read the description on the website before we move on to swatches. The Mini Biba palette, as described here, is inspired by their best-selling Everyday Essential 15-pan Biba eyeshadow palette. Extending the concept of an all-neutral palette, this shade extension features 5 brand new nude and brown shades with neutral rosy undertones. It is perfect to create a variety of looks for every occasion, from daytime looks to evening smoky eyes. Moving on to the swatches, we'll first start with Bruno. Deep mahogany brown. And the shadow does feel very creamy, but it's not swatching really nice on my wrist. Going in for a second application. Well, we will put it on the lids and put it to the test. I still have a lot of product left on my finger. Okay, I'm sorry, it looks like a mess on my wrist, but we will give it another try on the lid. Followed by Nude Dusty Rose, and this shade is called Izzy, and I think the swatch better. Then there is Blaze Nude, a light rosy nude. Signature Glam Natasha Denona Metallic, and then a light medium dusty coral plush. And I'm going in for a second application. I think this swatched okay too. Last shade is a medium dusty coral brown, Wink. Wink swatched beautifully, so this is only one application. All right, I'm taking Izzy and placing that all over the lid. Then taking Bruno and putting this onto the outer corner. Depending on how well it layers on top of this other shadow here and how easy it is to blend, I have some concerns. If it's easy, I'm gonna use more of it on the upper lash line, but we'll see. I think it looks fine. I think it went on nicely. I'm going to diffuse that into the crease. I'm gonna add a little bit more. I'm also gonna go in with this flat definer brush from Sonia G. And I want to add this Bruno shade on top of the upper lash line in a concentrated way. Next, using Plush, I am adding that right here. And just brightening everything up and moving the shade lightly towards the crease and kind of the middle of the crease. Then I'm also taking the shade and kind of lightly dusting it on the outer part of the lid, adding some color. And then going into Blaze Nude, I am putting that right here. And I'm going to add more. Definitely bright and glam. And now I'm going to go back in to Bruno. Just going to deepen this area a bit more because I want more contrast against Blaze Nude. Blaze Nude. And then going back into Plush, I'm going to add more of it into the crease because I want Blaze Nude to be more dramatic and that there is more texture built around the shade. Okay, so finally I'm going to, for the sake of the demonstration, I'm going to the last shade we haven't used yet, Wink, and I'm putting that on the lower lash line. Let me repeat the look on the other eye. I'll put on some mascara, then we'll come back to finish blush and lipstick. For blush, I'm going to use Plush and see how that looks because depending on your skin tone, I feel like this is a great blush. I mean, it's guaranteed to go with your eyeshadow look. The challenge though is that it's a small pan for your brush size. And then for lips, I wanted to go with something Natasha Denona initially, but then because this is such a coral look, I was really inspired to take out Chanel's Rouge Coco Flash in the shade Sunbeam. They came out with this last summer, and I think this would be a really good match. And for highlight, I am taking Natasha Denona's Glam Face Palette in Light. I'm going to use this here. Let's see, since this is kind of like a creamy formulation, perfect. I'm gonna use this brush here. This is Koyudo's BP collection, and this is Undyed Goat Hair. I think it's brush number 16, maybe 14. I'll have the information below, but I really like Koyudo brushes, especially their face brushes. This is the finished look, and I actually really like how everything turned out. I do enjoy coral shades with a coral undertone, so I think this is right up my alley, and probably subconsciously I was thinking coral pinkish because of my top today. What I didn't realize when I first saw the palette is that this one is corally, but this one also has like a coral undertone. I mean, even this metallic shade here, there's a bit of a coral undertone to it. And also myself, I have hooded eyes, and to create a classic halo look, you gotta like place the shadows a little bit differently, you know, do some tricks to give that dimension, that kind of illusion. And I feel like I didn't even need to, you know, use concealer to achieve what I have, because this shade here is so bright, and contrasted against, you know, these nude shades, these darker shades, it just gave me the kind of look I was really looking for. And so I was very pleasantly surprised, and I think it worked well. This is a halo eye look that I would say is kind of low key in terms of effort. So really, really enjoy this palette. About this shade here, it went on fine and it went on very concentrated, but blending out is not as easy as some of her, previous deeper matte shadows. I think, I didn't have an issue with it. It just took a little bit more blending, but that's just something to be aware of. And it definitely, this swatch is not representative. Maybe it's a little bit tackier than some of her deeper, like her other deeper mattes, but this is definitely not representative. I think it looks, fine the way it is, and I didn't really have much fallout either from it. That's usually the danger with the deep matte shade, is that like, oh, if you're gonna get fallout, it can get really messy, but no, I didn't have any fallout, so yeah. Really, really like this palette. Now I'm going to go ahead and do some comparisons. The first two shades I'm going to take out is actually from her Trichrome palette. These two here, I think, has some similarities to the two shades, the two lighter mattes from Mini Biba. And I know it's not going to be the same, but I think, like, just from looking at it, they look most similar. I recently rediscovered her Trichrome palette. I wear these shades to create a look for like Christmas Eve dinner, and I loved it. And it made me realize that I do not have mattes in my collection that are these kind of shades. I mean, purple is probably, I have the most. In terms of mattes, I have the most in purple and, these kind of like lavender, lilac type variances, but these still kind of stand out on their own. I think they're beautiful. So yeah, I've been rediscovering this palette and really enjoying it. So these two shades I have here, this is Diatonic and this is Garmon. Diatonic and Garmon. Not the same. Diatonic is brighter, but it is definitely a coral shade. And then Garmon is pretty similar to this shade here, which is Izzy. And I would say this is warmer and this is cooler. And then from the Mini Retro palette, I'd like to take Industrial because it is a pinky mauve matte shade. I mean, these are quite similar. I feel like they can just mix and match really easily, and you can still create a cohesive look with them. Then from the Zendo palette, I'd like to take a look at this shade, which is Uncovered, a dusty coral, and also this one here is Bare Pastel Pink. This dusty coral is very similar to Izzy. It's a touch more coral pinky than it is kind of like coral brownish. Very similar though. From her Glam Face palette in light, I'm going to take these two matte shades, Transition and Crease. These are instructional names. I think they're mostly going to be more beigey and brown leaning. Well, I guess this one's pink. Yeah, they're so similar. Like, they have the same vibes. Maybe a touch cooler, these two, than what's up here. My final thoughts, really like this mini, did not expect it. Had some hesitation with Bruno in the beginning, but now that the look is put together, I really didn't have any issues or struggled. It just doesn't blend out as easily as some of her other, dark matte shadows. If I were to compare what's on here to what's on the Glam Face palette for both light and dark, I would say I prefer the shadows on here, and I think it just has to do with they're neutral, just like what's found here, but it's more coral undertone, and I tend to enjoy that more. Now, if you have the Zendo, Mini Zendo, or Mini Retro, I do think this palette is different enough that if this catches your attention, I think you definitely have room to add and still get different looks. I feel like this is kind of the sweet spot because you've got two palettes here that have kind of corals and pinks, but the looks you create are quite different. And even though this is more coral leaning, and you could say like, yeah, it's kind of pink, but it's also warmer than these two. So this also has a place, and you can create looks that are really different from these two. The third mini palette Natasha Denona has is the Mini Love. And Mini Love is undeniably pink and what is it, hot pink fuchsia type shadows and undertones. So that one's going to be quite different too. This is the Mini Love. And let's hold it up with the others. Similar vibes, but really not the same, not the same. Well, thank you guys for watching. Miss you guys. So hopefully I can come back with another video very soon after this. Yeah, hope you guys are staying healthy and had a great holiday. See you very soon. Bye.